I don't think I've ever seen driving conditions this bad. How was it by you?
Joe, I'll tell you what, the commute into work today was not fun at all. I mean, we're talking about tires screeching, folks going through red lights because they didn't want to stop. Probably the worst snow I can ever remember seeing. If you have to leave your house this morning, this is what you're going to see. Look how deep this snow is, right up to my knees there. And I mean, you're looking at a car here. I mean, this is the kind of snow, the issues you're going to be dealing with. We are talking about just a ton of snow out here, and it's certainly affected some crews out there as well. We just spoke to South Bend Dispatch. They told us that they're having difficulty getting their cop cars out of the parking lot in Mishawaka. They just got some of those cars out of the parking lot. On the toll road, the snow plows are having a tough time keeping up, and I'll tell you what, they're telling us they're just sitting on the median because the conditions are that bad. We're also told off Napier and I-94, UPS and FedEx trucks are not in an accident, but they are sitting on the median because the snow is so bad. Interestingly enough, in Marshall County and Kosciuszko County, we're talking to them, and they're saying it's not so bad out there. The roads are clear. We just had someone respond to us on Facebook saying in Leesburg the conditions really are not that bad. But you can just see how much snow there is to deal with. The road conditions, take our word for it, certainly not ideal at all. So certainly important to let those crews go out there and do their thing. And of course, you're going to want to give yourself way more time than you'd ever need if you have to hit those roads, because as I said, Joel, I mean, just take a look at all of this snow.
Yeah, it's definitely bad out there, Nick.
Nick McGurk joins us now live, and Nick, South Bend also issues red tags as well.
Terry, that's right. Police issue these red tags all winter long, and it really comes down to public safety. So after this week's storm, as you said, Mishawaka police issued a fresh set of these red tags. They look just like this. The idea, if you've got one of these on your car, you better move your car or police will move it for you. Earl Frost has a tough enough time just getting from his mailbox to his driveway.
I'm disabled and I got to shovel my driveway out, so they can't shovel their stuff out.
The car in question, a Thunderbird just across the street, now a Snowbird, thanks to one red tag.
You probably have about 3 parking spots taken here.
Lieutenant Tim Williams with Mishawaka Police says the red tags are a necessity. They've given out 30 or 40 on the city's west side as a warning to owners whose cars block the roads.
And it's not just cleaning it off and shoveling around it. We actually need it to be moved.
Now you can see just how tight the squeeze is on this Mishawaka street between these two cars. Imagine if we were a fire truck or an ambulance.
If someone's having a heart attack, we're not going to be able to reach them. You're not going to be able to bring a big plow down here to plow this. Unfortunately, with the roads getting smaller, it's harder for to get those plows through there. So, last thing we do is have a city vehicle, our city plows hit a person's car.
As for Earl Frost,
It's aggravating.
it's a constant hassle to know the blue Thunderbird greets him when he leaves his driveway, a driveway he prides himself on getting shoveled every time.
I got to do it. They should do it too. Ticks you off, trying to get out of your driveway and you can't. You got to keep back and forth, jogging back and forth to get out. I don't like it.
And from the time that these red tags are put on your car, you have 72 hours to move your car or your car will get towed. Again, there's just not a lot of room between this car and the snowbank. And of course, it is extremely cold. So as a side note, what we did was we put some water on a t-shirt, just as a demonstration here. It took about 10 minutes for it to freeze. And we're just gonna do a demonstration, a little experiment. You can see what happened. That was kind of fun. Anyway, if you didn't know, folks, it's pretty cold out here.
Yeah, either that or you use 6 cans of starch on that thing. Nick, obviously, with it staying that cold, snow's not going to melt right away, and these snowbirds will continue to be an issue. Have police ended up towing a lot of these cars?
Well, we asked police that, and at least in South Bend, they said they don't end up towing a lot of them, but it's because of some pretty good response by folks. We got the word out earlier in the wintertime when South Bend put about 300 or so red tags on cars, and I'm told people did comply. There were just under a dozen that police ended up towing.
Very hard news to take.
It really is, Mo. As we've been talking about, this went from a missing person search to a prayer vigil to the absolutely tragic news this morning that 2 women, including Amy Hensley, were found dead, shot, and buried underground. Now, folks in this relatively small city of Hartford, about 2,500 people, certainly dealing with this in many different ways. At His Place Community Center, they plan to honor one of the victims, Amy Hensley. Now, it was just about 2 weeks ago, we're told, that she was there playing basketball with her 2 boys. And so on Sunday they plan a spaghetti luncheon and a silent auction to honor her life.
We've lost a mother and a wife and a friend to many, many people in the community. And so the best way I think that you could honor Amy and to contribute would be to support her kids and her family. Try to fill in the gap that's going to be there, especially for her children.
Yeah, the spaghetti luncheon and silent auction from 3 to 6 p.m. on Sunday. They're certainly welcoming folks to come on out. His Place Community Center in downtown Hartford. Also, they have a Hensley Memorial Fund set up at Chemical Bank in Hartford if you'd like to help out the family.
And Nick, what do we know so far?
Well, Terry, we know that St. Joe County Metro Homicide is on the scene, and the reason they are investigating is the woman who suffered the gunshot wound to the head earlier this evening has an injury so severe she will likely die. Let's take a look at what happened. It was on the west side of this building. Police say there are 4 vertical windows. You can see the light inside. That's where police say a suspect went to the side of this temp agency and shot through those windows inside. Police had actually originally responded to 2 women being shot. In fact, one woman was hit with debris and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, police say they don't know anything about a motive at this point. We don't know how many gunshots were fired. Police say the neighborhood is usually a quiet one, filled with Notre Dame housing and commercial properties. I mean, we're near Howard Park Ice Rink and we're near Eddy Street as well. And those who live and work nearby say it's hard to believe something so tragic happened so close.
I've lived here 26 years now, and I don't know of any other violent crime in the area.
What could possibly cause somebody to want to go in and do something like that to somebody is just beyond the realm of our understanding, and have no idea what would prompt anybody to act in that fashion.
I would hope that, they find some clue, some way to get after them. You don't want to think about something like that right outside your window.
At this point, Metro Homicide, of course, will continue to investigate. We've seen them inside. We've seen them pulling back the blinds inside Specialized Staffing Solutions. But we did ask police earlier. We've asked them again. There are no known suspects at this time. Terry.
And Nick, we know that earlier police were searching for somebody or something about a block away on East Washington. Did they find any clues there?
They didn't. They had found some tire tracks outside of the parking lot here, but at this point, we don't know if they are relevant at all. Of course, we'll keep folks updated on our website as soon as we find out more information, but as far as we know, police say no known suspects at this time.
A pretty scary thought if there's just somebody out there randomly shooting at people through windows, but right now we don't know either way on that, right?
We certainly do not, and talking to neighbors, they certainly express some concern, but we'll wait for police to tell us what they know when they find out. Records obtained by News Center 16 show that Joanne Shaw got raise after raise while married to Superintendent Stephen Mills. In the year before their marriage, Shaw earned $72,500. The year after their marriage, she was given additional duties, earning $81,500. That's a $9,000 increase in just 2 years.
There are a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Retired Mishawaka teacher Karen Mowry says the secrecy in Mishawaka has been going on for far too long. She wonders how Shaw would keep her job.
I think that that's going to be a very difficult position for her to maintain that job and have some credibility because she also lied to her staff.
But before the school board takes up the matter of Shaw, if they decide to do so, they must first address Stephen Mills, whose resignation to the board will be considered Wednesday.
What Mr. Mills did was clearly wrong. Even if there wasn't a policy in place, it was wrong by state statute.
Some say the marriage of Mills and Shaw is just the tip of the iceberg.
There seem to be a lot of positions that have conflicts of interest. I think it's difficult to be on the city council and also be an employee of the school corporation.
Mowry is referring to Greg Hicksonbaugh, a council member who is also human resource head and school attorney for Mishawaka Schools. His wife and sister-in-law work in the school system too. Also, Randy Squadroni heads the business department for Mishawaka Schools. His wife and brother work for the school corporation as well.
There ought to be a way that we can acknowledge that those situations exist and just take everybody out of a clouded issue.
Stilson says there will be a big push going forward to get conflict of interest forms signed every year so that when Joanne Shaw earns 20% more this last year than she did in the year before marrying Superintendent Mills, there aren't so many questions as to why.
Good afternoon.
Even before the news, tears.
It is with deep sadness that I report this morning investigators discovered what are believed to be the remains of Jada Justice.
The first words out at this press conference, the last friends and family wanted to hear.
Couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock.
Shock after news that this 2-year-old girl, missing for almost 2 weeks, won't be coming home.
I'm so sorry. From the bottom of my heart. I'm so sorry.
Friends sorry, police still at work.
The investigation has shifted from a missing persons case to a murder investigation.
On Thursday, police blocked off this road just north of Interstate 80 and 421. But police wouldn't say how the body was found or who found it.
A lot of family members here are hoping that maybe it's not her, but at the same time, in reality, we have to accept that it is probably indeed Jada.
Accepting the unacceptable.
I had absolutely no idea at all. None.
At the gas station where Jada Justice was reportedly last seen, a crowd gathers to remember.
This is a child. You have to take this in consideration that this could have been your child.
A young child gone missing, whose very last name, Justice, so absent from her last days.